Language isn't just about words. It's how we build meaning, identity, and change. I'm Stane, and in this series, we'll explore the ideas that shape our lives, not just to understand English, but to live it deeply. So plug in, tune in, and let's think in English. Together? All right, let's start. Most people go through life without ever truly hearing the voice that echoes the loudest inside their heads. Their own. We are, all of us, narrators of our own experience, editors of our daily internal monologue, critics of our mistakes, and sometimes our harshest judges. This voice, this internal stream of language, is called self-talk. And while it's often dismissed as harmless or automatic, the truth is, self-talk has the power to either construct your self-worth or dismantle it entirely. It's the voice that shapes your emotions before you even realize you're feeling them. It's what you hear when you fail, and what you repeat when you're alone. But more importantly, it's something you can change. And doing so might be one of the most important skills you'll ever develop, not just for personal growth, but for language, fluency, emotional resilience, and identity itself. Now you might wonder why we're talking about self-talk in a podcast designed for advanced English learners. But here's the thing. Learning a language at the C2 level isn't about flashcards or grammar charts anymore. It's about mastering internal fluency, eliminating hesitation, and aligning your thoughts directly with the language you use. And self-talk, that constant voice in your mind, is the perfect training ground for building emotional intelligence and linguistic control at the same time. Let's be real. When you forget a word, mispronounce something, or struggle to express a thought, what do you say to yourself in that moment? Do you think, "I'm so stupid, I'll never get this," or "Why can't I speak like a native?" These statements may feel harmless or temporary, but when repeated enough, they become your identity. Language learners don't fail because they lack vocabulary. They fail because they believe the voice that says they're not good enough. And the scariest part, that voice often uses your own language, your own voice, your own memory to convince you. But what if we flipped the script? What if your internal dialogue became your most supportive teacher instead of your most unforgiving critic? Imagine replacing "I'm terrible at speaking" with "I'm improving every time I speak," or swapping "I'm not confident enough with this is just part of the process." These aren't cheesy affirmations. They're strategic rewrites of your internal narrative, and they matter because your brain listens when you talk. Neuroscience tells us that the brain doesn't always distinguish between imagined experience and real experience. When you repeatedly tell yourself you're incapable, your brain believes it and programs that belief into your habits. On the flip side, if you consistently reinforce the idea that mistakes are part of learning and growth is messy but meaningful, you rewire your mind for resilience. And here's where it gets fascinating. Self-talk is also a reflection of your unconscious culture. If you grew up in a critical environment, your self-talk will likely mirror that. If you were rewarded only for perfection, your internal voice might punish anything less. But these patterns can be hacked. You don't have to inherit the tone of your past. You can rebuild your voice in a new language, literally and metaphorically. That's why learning English at this level isn't just about fluency. It's about emotional intelligence in English. When you talk to yourself in English, even privately, you're practicing cognitive ownership. You're not just translating your thoughts, you're reinventing them. And that makes you not just bilingual, but be cognitive. Go deeper. When you make a mistake, pause and notice your reaction. Is it shame, irritation, embarrassment? These emotions often ride on the back of a phrase. Something like, I always mess this up, or I should have known that. But the truth is, your emotional reaction isn't to the mistake itself. It's to the story you tell yourself about the mistake. And stories are told in language. So change the story, and you change the emotion. This is what elite communicators, athletes, leaders, and thinkers do. They narrate their experiences with intention. When they fail, they don't say, I failed because I'm stupid. They say, that didn't work, and now I know what to adjust. This isn't delusion, it's design. It's building an internal voice that helps you grow rather than keeps you stuck. And this brings us to the most powerful part of today's episode. Self-talk is a muscle, and like any muscle, it strengthens with use. But also, like any muscle, it can atrophy with neglect. If you never pay attention to how you speak to yourself, chances are your inner voice is running on outdated programming. Maybe it's filled with doubt, fear, comparison, or perfectionism. And the danger is, when left unchecked, that voice becomes your default lens for life. The way you interpret feedback, the way you set goals, even the way you treat others. Because here, a deep truth, the way you talk to yourself is the way you will eventually talk to the world. If you're critical inside, you'll be critical outside. If you're kind inside, you'll be kinder out loud. So now comes the practical question. How do you change your self-talk? Start small. Notice patterns. Catch the phrases you repeat unconsciously, especially in moments of stress or failure. Write them down, and then consciously rewrite them. If you say, I can't do this, add, yet. If you say, this is too hard, try, this is challenging, but I've handled harder. This isn't magic. It's neuro-linguistic self-alignment. And when you do this in English, the benefits double. You're not just reframing your mental habits, you're deepening your intuitive grasp of tone, register, and perspective in English. You begin to own phrases like, I'm a work in progress, or that's just a bump in the road, and suddenly, your vocabulary becomes personal. Not memorized, but lived. It's what fluency really is. And if you're still skeptical, let me leave you with a challenge. For the next 24 hours, narrate your day in English. Not out loud, just in your thoughts. When you wake up, describe how you feel. When something annoys you, name it. When something goes well, celebrate it. And notice how often your inner dialogue is negative, doubtful, sarcastic, or harsh. Then, slowly, start changing the tone. You'll be shocked at how much lighter, faster, and clearer your thinking becomes. And over time, your speaking will follow. Remember, language is not just communication, it's creation. Every word you say to yourself is a building block of who you become. So build something strong, build something kind, and build it in the language you're mastering. That's all for today. I'm Stane, and you've been listening to The Depth of Words. If this episode spoke to you, literally or metaphorically, share it with someone who's learning to be kinder to themselves. Because the world is loud enough. Your inner voice should be your safe place. See you in the next episode.